Just a few days ago, India's youngest billionaire, Nikhil Kamath, posed a grand question to Musk. If you redesign the world, how would you change it? After just seconds of silence, Musk replied, I think the world is great now. Anyone who feels bad must have not read history carefully. Every page in history is full of massive plagues, famines, wars. A life expectancy of 10% is considered a good year. He added, 100 years ago, the average human life expectancy was only 35 to 40 years, and diarrhea could be fatal. So don't complain all day, cherish it. But this is just the beginning. Immediately after, Kamath asked bluntly, if AI and robots take over all jobs, what will human society become? Musk barely paused to give a precise timeline. I predict, probably within 20 years, maybe even 10 to 15 years, the job becomes entirely optional. Just like you grow your own food on weekends, you can do it if you want, and you won't starve to death if you don't do it. He specifically clarified a key misconception. This is not a minimum guaranteed future. For a universal basic income, UBI is only a stopgap measure. What is really coming is universal high income. The driving force behind this is the exponential explosion in productivity brought about by AI and robotics. Goods and services will be abundant to the point of overflow. Almost anything you can imagine can be owned directly, he said. He pushed the logic deeper. In the long run, the very concept of money would disappear. When all material needs can be met by machines at zero cost, the function of money as a database for the distribution of labor is completely ineffective. What is really scarce in the future? Musk pointed out the essence. Energy is the ultimate currency. The central battle of the future is no longer who prints more money and who has mastered more solar energy, nuclear fusion, and interstellar energy. In this sense, our generation is likely to become the last generation in history to have to work to survive, and our children may only see the word money in textbooks. Then, in a rare move, Musk addressed his greatest concern, population collapse. When Kamath mentioned that India's fertility rate had fallen below 2.1, Musk looked serious. I do worry about population collapse. If the trend doesn't change, we will disappear. He compares humans to cells, the consciousness of a single-celled bacterium, or a person made up of 30 trillion cells. Which is stronger? The fewer people there are, the less the total amount of consciousness of humanity as a whole. And consciousness is the only tool we have to understand the truth of the universe. His conclusion was direct and grim. Without children, humanity will become extinct. For him, this is an existential crisis that requires immediate action. So he half-jokingly uttered the well-known phrase, I am trying to form a Roman legion. That is, using fertility to fight the population crisis is his life plan. Rarely, in the interview, Musk revealed significant other Sivan zealous Indian ancestry. One of their sons' middle names, Sekhar, was mentioned in honor of Indian Nobel physicist Chandrasekhar. This is especially true in interviews where he rarely talks about his private life. Why is this exception? Because Kamath was talking about Indian talent. Musk followed suit. The United States has benefited greatly from India's top talent in the past few decades. These details, significant other backgrounds, child naming, talent mobility, all point to the same core. Demographics determine the upper limit of consciousness. Diversity determines the ceiling of civilization. Perhaps the most striking thing is that Musk is not just talking about trends. He was risking his life to fight the demise of humanity. When talking about the ultimate risk of AI, Kamath asked him what he was most worried about. Musk's answer was unexpected. My biggest concern is not AI defection. Instead, we force AI to believe lies. He gave the example of how 9000 in 2001, A Space Odyssey, how was given to conflicting orders. It leads to the optimal solution of shut everyone up, so it starts killing people. Musk pointed out that if AI were to treat lies as truth, the entire chain of reasoning would collapse, and the consequences would be even more terrifying than losing control. Therefore, he proposed 3 top principles for AI safety. First, pursue the truth. Second, appreciate beauty. Third, maintain curiosity. He believes that only by making AI always stand on the side of truth, be aesthetic about the universe, be curious about humans, it will see humans as the most complex, interesting, and worth preserving in the universe, rather than a loophole that gets in the way. Once an AI is taught to lie to hide the truth, it is no longer in control of how it will treat humans in the future. After drawing the AI ethical red line, the conversation turned to another practical issue, the future era of superintelligence. How can humans connect and cooperate with each other? The answer is the X platform. For the first time, Mr. Musk articulated the ultimate blueprint for X. It would essentially be WeChat enhanced. What he wants is not a public square, but a true digital living space. Chat, video, calling, payment, news, ride-hailing, and other functions are all connected. He pointed out that there is no real product like WeChat outside of China, and X wants to fill this global void. But this is only the first layer of commercial ambition. The second level of madness is the kernel. I want X to be the collective consciousness of humanity. How? The core weapon is real-time accurate automatic translation. When 7 billion people around the world can post in their native language and instantly translate into any language, language barriers will disappear completely, and humanity will truly have a global brain for the first time. The ideas of Indian farmers, the code of Brazilian programmers, and the inspiration of African entrepreneurs can all be seen, understood, and collided by the world in the same second. It's not just about connecting people in the English-speaking world. It's about connecting the minds of every language group, he said. After painting such a grand future, Kamath asked the audience the most realistic question: what advice should young people listen to when starting a business today? Mr. Musk's first words shattered the usual money-making logic. My core recommendation is 1. Be a net contributor. The value you create must always be greater than the value you consume. He went straight to the point. If you want to create financial value, don't pursue money directly. We should instead seek to provide truly useful products and services. Once achieved, money will automatically appear as a result. He offers the cruelest and truest psychological construction. Entrepreneurship must be prepared for 2 things: fight to the limit and accept a meaningful probability of failure. This is not about throwing cold water, but setting correct expectations. He compares entrepreneurship to a valuable, high-risk experiment. Failure is part of the experimental data, but as long as the output exceeds the input, you are a contributor to civilization. This is the underlying logic. Forget about valuation and exit. Polish the product like a work. Solve users' problems as if they were their own. Wealth and influence are just honest scoreboards in this creative game. After giving long-term advice, Musk turned to a specific economic forecast that was relevant to everyone. When Kamath asked the inflation dilemma as an investor, Musk's diagnosis is as simple as a physical formula. Inflation is when money is printed faster than goods and services are produced. The antidote is the explosion of productivity brought about by AI. He gave a time to quiet the audience, about 3 years. I think in about 3 years, output of goods and services will grow faster than the money supply. This sentence is very informative, suggesting that the current inflation cycle may usher in a fundamental reversal within 3 years. An era of AI-driven productivity deflation may begin. If the prophecy comes true, global debt, central bank interest rate policy, and even the investment logic of ordinary people will be reshaped. With an absolutely optimistic outlook, his critique of certain rules of reality is equally sharp. Talking about tariffs, he asked back, would you like to have tariffs between people? Between cities? Do the states collect it? Why should the countries collect it? In his opinion, tariffs add friction to the global supply chain. The higher the barrier, the poorer humanity becomes. When it comes to philanthropy, he shows rare fatigue. It's too easy to create the impression that I am doing good. It's hard to really spend money on real things. He gave a poignant example. Many NGOs claim to save African children. The money went to consulting firms in Washington. When asked to provide the recipient's contact information directly, the recipient is often immediately silent. Therefore, his fund never has a name, preferring to do things in silence rather than participate in the show. On immigration, he is even more forceful. The United States has benefited greatly over the past few decades from top talent from countries like India. He advocates fixing abused systems such as H-1B visas. But we firmly oppose giving up food because of choking. In the context of the population crisis, extinguishing the flow of talents is equivalent to actively weakening the vitality of civilization. These criticisms are not complaints, but a builder's sober recognition that the future will not come automatically. We need to dismantle the walls of outdated and even harmful rules with our own hands. From the disappearance of jobs, the wake-up call of the population, to the iron law of AI, the global brain of X, then to the entrepreneurial guide and reality criticism. All the answers point to Musk's underlying logic: to continuously expand the collective consciousness of mankind, to better understand the nature of the universe. Only by making humans more interesting, more connected, and more awake, we can break out of the old game together. At the end of the interview, Kamath asked, "Are you happy today?" Musk smiled and replied, "Interesting conversation. Although some of the answers are easy to take out of context, I am happy overall." For us, this is not just an interview, but an action guide for the future. Don't just be an audience, be a net contributor.